My name's John Williams. I'm 26 years old and I've been with Dave now for about a year and a half. Okay? So my exercise and eating before I started with Dave was super erratic. I obviously was involved with people in the gym. I never thought of investing in a trainer previously. I didn't have the money. My training was like, just about going to the gym and pushing the heaviest weights. Not about form, it was about how much food I could eat and how much weights I could push. Doesn't matter the quality of the food, but that was pretty much my diet, and my training was just junk food as much as possible and heavy weights. The result back then, when I looked at myself, I thought they were pretty good, but looking back now, it was absolutely horrendous. I was super lethargic and super tired most of the time, thinking about back then before I started with Dave. I think the reason being was the quality of food and the training just wasn't right. All along I thought I was doing it correct, but only looking back now do I see that it was completely incorrect. And yeah, the quality of the food really did affect my sleeping and my health and the way I was operated during the day at work. I was super tired all the time and super lethargic. So I think what made me want to work with Dave initially was when I met Dave in the gym. I followed his Instagram page and I saw his transformations, and all the time and effort I was putting into training back then and thinking I was doing it right, I sort of wanted to get back on track. Looking at his clients' transformations and stuff was far from what I was getting. So I think just mainly seeing the results he was getting made me want to join the program. So I think one of the big things that was like a wow factor for me and was changed was pretty much everything. I mean, my training went from pushing heavy weights, thinking that was the right way, watching all these YouTube videos and these overseas athletes, thinking that's the way forward, to actually going lighter on the weight, focusing on form. The training was completely different. Really focusing on the muscle group that you were working. The diet was surprisingly not even a diet, because before I was with Dave, I was with a few other coaches and I couldn't stick to the diet. I tried. It was absolutely, bland food, repetitive meals. And joining Dave, one of the big things that really got me was the quality of the food and the variety of the food that I got to eat. The advice that I could give people out there is that, and the mistakes I made in all the years that I spent a fortune on supplements, I spent a fortune on food, and only to look back now, it was most of the stuff I was buying was incorrect. Half the stuff I didn't even need. So my advice that I give people now is, before you go and spend money on all these fancy foods and things, make sure that you take that money and invest in a coach. Because at the end of the day, you need the basic supplements, but the food is what actually counts. And, the mistake I made was not investing in a trainer earlier on and wasting money on a whole bunch of junk that I saw on TV and saw on YouTube and following all these influencers and stuff. I think that was my biggest mistake. So my objective when I started with Dave was to do a show. Well, initially it was just to get into shape. And as we went, Dave's program really worked very well. And we saw massive changes like within 12-15 weeks to my physique. And then we decided on doing a show, and my objective was to do a show. And, unfortunately we didn't make it that far. And currently that's still my objective. It's just to stay in good shape, make sure I'm eating healthy, I'm training well, I'm looking good. And when you look good, you feel good. So my objective now is just to stay in shape, and I still have that show in mind. That's still something we want to do. So my favorite part about this journey has been the fact that Dave's so hands-on. You can contact him any time of the day, and the advice is there. He really motivates you as a client, and he's not just, a copy-paste sort of diet that you're receiving. Another thing that's phenomenal that people don't believe is the variety of food that you get to eat. When I follow my diet, sometimes people are like when I eat sweets, or if I have a muffin, or I have these burgers during the day, it blows their mind to think that I'm actually following a diet. So the best part of it is is being able to contact him, having that full-time support, having a coach that believes in you, and he believes in every one of his clients. And I think the cherry on the top is the food that we get to eat. It's unbelievable.
Cool thing for me about John is that I think he probably never hired a trainer before, probably because he had a bit of an ego towards his training and nutrition. He probably felt that his way was the right way. And I met John actually face to face in the gym that I used to work in Belito, and that's how we formed this relationship. And I could see John, he was a big guy, but maybe lacked the right guidance. And like he said, he pushed heavy weights around. I mean, like massive weights with not the greatest form, and he chowed shit. A lot of shit. So he had a physique, but it just kind of needed to be like sculpted and just basically made aesthetically, a lot more pleasing. So then what happened with John is that literally it was just about taking John, who's quite a stubborn guy, and getting him to listen to someone else's methods. And it obviously takes a lot of trust, especially if you have your own methods that you believe in, to now believe in something that's probably a lot different to what you're currently following. So getting John to really think about movements, the execution of movements, and to drop his ego and to pull down the weights that he was using and really focus on form completely changed his physique, exceeding my expectations, I think exceeding John's expectations as well. And then from there, it's been a gradual journey. I know John looks like an absolute freak and people think like he's just lucky. But guys, John works incredibly hard. He is consistent week after week after week. He trains harder than me. I don't like training with John because he kicks me up the arse. He trains heavy still. Even though his form's excellent, he does push heavy weights now. And, a lot of people probably look at John and think it's luck or genetics or whatever, what. But this guy works hard, guys. He's just had a child. He travels a huge amount for his job and he still gets it done. It's so easy to make excuses in this day and age, but John does more than most people are doing. You have nothing against him. So I think John proves it doesn't matter what your experience level is or necessarily what your body composition goals are, you need guidance. A lot of people, they just want to kind of lose some weight or lose some fat, and that's 100%. But also someone like John, who was experienced in the gym, had a number of years in the gym, also needed that guidance to completely change the way his body looked. And that has come through, relentless work and close monitoring and a good relationship. I mean, me and John are best friends on this. And that has built a friendship that's obviously far more valuable than the transformation. But it just goes to show that if you reach out to someone who has the correct guidance for you, knows what they're doing, it could completely change your life. It could change your circle of influence as well, as it has done with me and John. So guys, I know how hard it is to reach out for help, especially males. For some reason, guys are very stubborn in their ways. They feel they know what they're doing. But guys, imagine you just reach out to that right trainer. You stop wasting your money on all these unnecessary things. You invest it in someone that can actually get you results, and it can possibly change the way you feel about yourself, change your confidence levels, change, like John said, his energy levels at work. That's a huge one. If you're more productive at work, it's going to lead to a better career, and so on and so on. So don't underestimate the right kind of guidance, guys. Make sure you're getting a trainer who's truly invested in you. There are good trainers out there, guys, but you definitely need to find one who is invested in you. So make sure you get a trainer who's truly invested in you, someone that is there for you and is going to guide you, because the right kind of help can really change your life. And I mean, body transformation is awesome, guys. John gets a body transformation. Other clients get a body transformation. I started this whole business and whole thing from getting my own body transformation. So you never know what it can do for you. Not just the way you look, but the discipline it takes to do it, the commitment, and seeing things through and earning that credibility with yourself. I've always talked about this. Earning credibility with yourself and proving to yourself you can accomplish goals is a massive step forward in life.